Hurricane Maria. 2 weeks after Hurricane Maria ravaged homes and flooded streets with sewage, most Puerto Ricans remain without power or clean drinking water. Natural disasters create a ripe environment for epidemics. No power means no drinking water for most, because local water purification systems are knocked out. People wind up drinking contaminated water from taps or rivers. Roofs and doors have been blown off, making it easier for rats and mosquitoes to get into homes. All this leaves people vulnerable to cholera, hepatitis A, meningitis, salmonella, and more. Unless there is massive intervention to implement some type of health infrastructure, we could see significant epidemics in the coming weeks, said Peter Hadas, dean of the National School of Tropical Medicine at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, in an interview with Inside Climate News. In Loiza, a coastal town close to San Juan, Mayor Julia Navarro reports that some residents already show signs of dengue, Zika, and pink eye. If the predictions of health experts come true, that story could extend far beyond Loiza. Renewer and Better. A new report from the International Energy Agency surveys the growth of hydropower, wind, and other forms of renewable energy and finds they're catching up to coal, still the world's largest source of electricity. At this rate, renewables are expected to provide 30% of power generation by 2022. Hydropower provides the most renewable energy, but the growth is in solar. One wrinkle, though it can be misleading to focus on the number of panels installed, because solar only works when, the sun shines. So keep in mind that, while the graph below shows how much new capacity we are adding to the system, only a portion of that gets turned into electricity. IEA Denmark is leading the way on clean energy installations. Shocking, I know. The Scandinavian country currently generates 44% of its electricity from wind and solar, and by 2022 it's on track to get 77% from the same sources. VRE, used in the graph below, stands for variable renewable energy, the term of art for wind and solar plants that we can't switch on as needed. IEA, if renewables keep growing as forecast, we're going to need bigger electrical grids to move electricity from places where it's generated in excess to places where it's needed, and better ways to store energy. Vanishing tact. President Trump visited the U.S. territory on Tuesday, 2 weeks after Hurricane Maria devastated the island. Half of Puerto Ricans lack clean water and 95% are without power. So, how did the president approach the unfolding humanitarian crisis? Let's hear it. Trump said that Hurricane Maria wasn't a real catastrophe like Hurricane Katrina at a briefing with local officials. He compared the certified death count of the disasters as evidence you can be very proud, only 16 instead of thousands in Katrina. To point out a few problems: the official death toll in Puerto Rico is underreported, it will likely continue to climb, and maybe we should frame death tolls as something to be proud of. I hate to tell you, Puerto Rico, but you've thrown our budget out of whack, Trump said at the briefing, apparently joking about the disaster aid pending in Congress. Have a good time, Trump told a family after they showed him their storm-damaged home. The president went mostly off-script from the White House's Puerto Rico media coverage planned, but he did take the opportunity to tout the success of the relief effort. Everybody watching can really be very proud of what's been taking place in Puerto Rico, he said. We can only hope he's not talking about his own performance. Rov. Aid. Phoenix Rising. Dominica branded itself as Nature Island, the greenest island in the Caribbean. The country's lush rainforest and jagged mountain ranges drew ego tourists and buoyed its tiny economy. Then Hurricane Maria hit late last month and ruined everything. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt said the damage was mind-boggling. Maria killed at least 27 people on Dominica. A majority of a population of roughly 74,000 are now homeless. Streets are choked with shattered trees, and every piece of infrastructure is damaged. What's more, it's all bound to happen again in years to come. Dominica is part of a string of islands at the edge of the Caribbean that forms the first speed bump for hurricanes heading west. What to do? Skerritt has a vision of Dominica as the first climate-resilient country. For now, that means asking for the money so that the island doesn't just rebuild on old vulnerabilities, as he put it in a press release. The World Bank and European Development Agency have pledged considerable sums to back our vision as the first climate-resilient nation of the climate change era, Skerritt said. Dominica has also set up a website to solicit donations from companies and individuals. Can't stop this. An annual assessment of energy efficiency standards shows that states around the country are pushing forward programs to reduce pollution and save people money, even as the Trump administration works to roll back these sorts of programs at the federal level. The report, from the nonprofit American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy, shows progress in both blue and red states. While liberal-minded states tend to invest more in energy efficiency, Massachusetts, California, and Rhode Island got top marks. The efforts underway defy the normal partisan spectrum. Idaho updated its building codes, Utah got its residents to drive less, and Texas encouraged energy efficiency in its public buildings. One Texas school district switched over to better lighting and climate control systems, saving it almost $1 million a year. Around the country, utilities spent $7.6 billion to improve energy efficiency in 2016, the equivalent of shutting down 5 coal power plants in terms of emissions. Even as the EPA and Department of Energy work to define energy efficiency rules, states continue to follow the basic logic of paying less money for less pollution. Thinking about buying the new iPhone? Watch our video on how to repair your old phone instead.